What's the good word, y'all? It's your boy DKB here. Day 2, 2024 NFL Draft is going to kick off 6 p.m. tonight. Round 1 was crazy. As we know, there were some surprises, but the New York Jets land their left tackle. There were rumors that the Jets tried to trade up twice, once with the Giants, I believe, and with the Cardinals. They decided to stay locked in, and obviously they got some great players in Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Nabers. So it does lend credence to the theory that the New York Jets will still look to make a trade up in day 2, where there's a lot of premium talent still there in order to supplement that wide receiver room. We all have faith in what Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson can deliver, but behind them, you want to make sure that you can have that significant third weapon. Kind of posted a few days ago, or excuse me, yesterday anyways, after the first round wrapped up. This should give us a lot more information into what type of player the New York Jets are looking for. I think the easiest upgrade is in the slot position, but you can definitely say that if a Mike Williams isn't ready, what do you want to have in, an X receiver or a Z receiver, etc., whatever it is that they're looking for. There's some interesting names. You have Adonai Mitchell, sure-handed, one drop in his last 103 targets. Ladd McConkey out there, who's going to be your more polished slot receiver that can do a little bit of everything at an above-average level. Keon Coleman, who's going to bring you that size, speed, power component, red zone threat. I think he could be one of the main targets that the New York Jets will look for here. And the concern would be, how high do they want to go up, right? I think you're talking about us picking high in the 3rd round, right? But I think they could look to see who drops to that mid to late portion of day 2, especially with the amount of defensive guys that got pushed down due to round 1, where you're talking about a historic 14 offensive players drafted consecutively before we seen Laiatu Latu, who I believe was the first edge guy to come off the board. But you still have plenty of other names. You guys know, if you've watched me at any point during this offseason and draft coverage, Devontae Walker is my guy, and I think he may actually end up making it to round 3 when we pick. But outside of him, I love Jalen Polk, a lighter version of a Roma Dunze, if you will, strong-handed boundary guy, little bit more deceptive speed to him. You don't see him breaking away from guys, but you see his ability to go out there and maintain that separation long enough to get in the end zone at certain periods. Jalen McMillan, who's probably going to be your number 2 slot receiver right after Ladd McConkey here, and a guy that's really been able to benefit as well from having Michael Penix in that system with them. Troy Franklin, another size speed component. Weight is going to be a concern, as we talked about, but I think I chatted about this during the draft watch party with Gunny and Tigo and the rest of the guys there. Troy Franklin is a guy that I'm just as high on as I would be for Brian Thomas. I thought they were both high day 2 guys. But I look at Troy Franklin and I say Bo Nix, arguably a lesser quarterback than what Brian Thomas had in Jaden Daniels. Then you factor in the fact that, yes, he's in a lower conference, if you will, but he only really had Bucky Irving as another sidekick, whereas Jaden Daniels had a number of other guys in Malik Nabers to loop in and be able to do some damage with. So Troy Franklin really stood on business on his own, if you will, and I think there's a lot of untapped potential there. Brendan Rice, is a name that could be pretty consistent, but outside of the top other 10 guys, I really think you can wait on a Devontae Walker. You can take a Malik Washington, who I would probably say is the more consistent, more productive slot wide receiver out of the guys available. I would have him ahead of a Ladd McConkey, if you will, right now, even if he may not be necessarily up to par in all the same areas. And I think that's more of a competition thing that's going against him. But you can't knock 4 drops in his last, I think it's like 234 targets over the last 2 years, right? So still a lot of guys here. Jamari Thrash is a name I've been seeing a lot of people get excited about in round 3 if he's still available. So ultimately, let me know what you guys think. If I had to give it in order for me right now, it's going to be Devontae Walker, Jalen Polk, Keon Coleman, and then Malik Washington. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you again. Peace.